Welcome into something that we call RAVE Church. We are here to inspire you today to the sound of some electronic music. This is RAVE Church, Volume 9. I'm your host, Stephen Lovegrove, and I am in the mix with DJ Bryan Neville, coming to you from the City of Angels. Let's go, family. If you're on YouTube, take a second to like the video wherever you're listening or tuning in. Make sure that you're subscribed right now. Here we go. And go ahead and hit the share button on whatever platform you're on. The only way that good things in the world expand is when they are shared. Thank you for sharing this mix with the people in your world, Rave Church family. I'm so glad that you're here with me on the virtual dance floor today. I'm a different person when you're here. The mix is better when you're here. The experience is better when you're here. Thank you for being a part of the family. And partners, thank you for believing in my work and supporting it. I appreciate you. So I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different today. We're gonna try it. And as I always say when it's a trial, we don't know how it's gonna go. We'll find out. But I'm gonna throw out some numbers all throughout the experience today. And if you happen to be on YouTube and you're a yes, you resonate, you would raise your hand for whatever it is. You can drop that number in the comments, okay? So we'll do one for fun as we get started. If you personally love dance music, I want you to drop a 1 in the comments. If you personally love dance music, even separate from Rave Church, go ahead and drop a 1. And on the flip side, if you would say it really isn't your thing, but you will listen to it just for the sake of this mix, just for the sake of Rave Church, you can put a 2 in the comments. Big shout out to DJ Bryan Neville co-creating this mix with me. I'll link his info below in the episode description. If you are here for the first time, this is your first time ever joining us on the virtual dance floor for Rave Church, I want you to put a 3 in the comments. If it's your first time here, drop a 3. Meanwhile, if you've been here before, I want you to drop a 4. If you're a returning raver, drop a 4, family. Turn my world around. Somebody's world is changing today. Somebody's life is changing today, family. If you're in the gym working out with me, drop a 5. I know so many of you use these in the gym. I also know so many of you listen to these mixes again and again and again, and I want you to know how much that means to me. I always want to bring you something good. I always want to bring you something valuable. I have so much time and prayer and thought that goes into every piece of content that I create, including and especially these mixes. If you're listening to this mix for the very first time right now, drop a 6. And if you're here returning, drop a 7. As we transition into this amazing song from the Blessed Madonna. So in this mix today, I actually want us to stay in the flow, the rhythm that we've been in lately. Ooh, this track. In this mix today, I kind of want to give you a follow-up, actually, on a recent teaching that I did. Now, I know some of you aren't about that life. Some of you don't listen to the teachings. That's okay. If all you ever tune into is RAVE Church in general, or even just this mix, I love you. I'm grateful for you. I'm glad you're here no matter what. But I will tell you, this particular mix is a continuation of a recent teaching and a topic that we've been exploring together. I'll link the teaching below. But I really resonate with this lyric, family. The reason is you. Behind everything that I create, everything that I record, everything that I do, the reason is you. And so in this recent teaching, again, I'll link it below, I shared with you a flow that never fails me, a flow of faith, a flow of creation. And I know some of you already know what it is. Some of you have been listening to that teaching on repeat. But the flow is very simple, and it has 3 simple steps. Believe, receive, release. I said believe, receive, release. That is the flow that we're learning to live into in this community. If you've already heard that teaching, drop an 8 in the comments. If you haven't listened to that one yet, drop a 9, because after all, this is RAVE Church Volume 9. But the flow that we've been living in lately is this simple flow, these 3 words. Believe, receive, release. What if we have an opportunity to do that today, even as this beat plays? Believe, receive, release. I came to tell you today, we don't have to make it exhausting. We don't have to make it complicated. We don't have to make it a never-ending process of seek and do not find. Somebody's leaving the stuckness today. Somebody's leaving the confusion today. Somebody is exiting your season of seek and do not find today. And so I want us to continue to explore that flow together. Believe, receive, release. That's what this mix is going to be all about today, supporting you as you believe, receive, release.
DJ, gonna burn this goddamn house right down. Oh, I know about
Believe, receive, release. It all begins with that one simple word, believe.
It's murder on the dance floor, but you better not kill the groove.
I came to remind you today, your beliefs are right now creating your life. It all starts there. It all begins from the foundation of what you believe.
There may be others.
Let me say it this way, family. What you do not believe, you will never experience. What you do not believe, you will never experience. Could it be there's something you as of yet have not experienced, but the reason for that is you've never let yourself go there. You've never let yourself take a chance. You've never let yourself believe it. And what you do not believe, you will never experience. It all begins with belief.
But you better not steal the moves, DJ. Gonna turn this house around somehow.
I feel like this really is the number one reason that people end up feeling like, Stefan, you're talking about something, you're teaching something, you're articulating a possibility or an experience, but while I may want it and it might sound good, I've never experienced that before. Why is that? What does that mean? Why have I never experienced that before? And I would offer to you the number one reason for that is you've never believed something before. I swear I didn't plan this, okay? But I love that this song just said, I will prove you wrong. Did you hear that lyric, family? I will prove you wrong. Now, the ironic thing is, this is where people get tripped up because your brain is not trying to prove you wrong. Your brain is always trying to prove you right. And so what you end up with is you find what you are looking for. You find more confirmation, more evidence to reassure you that you're right. Are you willing to be wrong in order to step into something new? Are you willing to be wrong in order to get what you really want?
Always live your life, move yourself. You are the move you make, move yourself. You always live your life.
Maybe this is our moment to move ourselves into something new.
Move yourself. Move yourself. Move yourself. Move yourself. Move yourself. Move yourself. Move yourself.
I felt led to say to you today, some of you, your speaking is in the way of your seeing. What I mean by that is your speaking is in the way of the very thing you want to see. Because you keep speaking what you've experienced in the past. You keep speaking according to your trauma. You keep speaking more of what you have rather than what you want. And so there's this invitation today. You might have to speak something new. You might have to begin saying something that contradicts all your past and all of the evidence and all the circumstances up to this point. You might have to be brave enough to speak something even before you've seen it so that you can see it. I dare you to speak something new. Now I'm gonna reference some things in this mix today that refer to the teaching that I did earlier this year. So bear with me if you didn't hear the teaching, but you know, in that story we were exploring together, there's a moment where something is spoken that creates a change. And as we talk about this flow that begins with believe, 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 I want to talk about the way that something you speak can create a change. Something you believe can create a change. And I felt led to point out here in this story, Jesus speaks to a tree that has no abundance, no provision, no fruit. And he says, that's incorrect. That's not how it's supposed to be. Come on, Michael Jackson cover. And I feel like it's so striking that in this story, Jesus looks at a tree that has no fruit, no abundance, no growth. And he says, that is not correct. That's not how it is supposed to be. I came to tell someone today, that's not how it's supposed to be. You are not meant to perpetually struggle, family. You are not meant to not have what you need. You are not meant to go without. You were not created to be in lack. You were not created to bear no fruit. If you're willing to leave behind the struggle today, I want you to drop a 10 in the comments. Because that's not how it was meant to be. He looked at the tree with no abundance, with no increase, with no fruit, and he said, that is not how it's supposed to be. You're meant to live in abundance. You're meant to have what you need. You're meant to be growing, expanding, prospering in every way, just as much as your soul prospers. Nothing could be clearer to me than that, family, than the fact that you are meant to prosper. If you claim that for yourself today, drop an 11 in the comments. I am meant to prosper. I believe that right here, right now. I am meant to prosper. And so we're talking about the power of believing something new. Daring to speak something new. Daring to believe something new, which you have the power and the opportunity and the authority to do right here, right now. I pray that you're starting with you. I feel this so strongly for somebody, Bryan. You don't need another thing to be different. You don't need another person to change. You don't need another circumstance to shift. You start right here, right now. Claim something new. Believe something new. Step into something new. I'm telling you, there's somebody listening to this who has been waiting on the external thing you think you need to change. And I came to tell you today, you don't. You don't need it. All it takes is you. All it takes is faith. All it takes is what you have. You've got what you need, family. You've got what you need. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. So let me ask you today a couple of questions, family. What is your new season asking you to believe? What is your new season asking you to believe? You can't put new wine into old wineskins. Some of you are trying to go into a new season with an old identity, into a new season with old habits, into a new season with old grudges and grievances, but you can't move into a new season and maintain your commitment to the old. And so I ask you today, what is your new season asking you to believe? I would also ask you, family, what is your dream asking you to believe? Sit with that question for a moment. What is your dream asking you to believe? I celebrate in advance the divine guidance coming through for people all throughout this mix today. One more question I want to ask you here. What is your vision asking you to believe? And I decree and declare every single person is being guided to exactly the right belief that they are meant to step into today. What is your new season asking you to believe? What is your vision asking you to believe? What is your dream asking you to believe? And you know, as I was praying over this experience and getting ready today, I heard this message for someone. I don't know who it's for. It's not for everyone, but I heard for someone today that you may not even need to believe something brand new and original in this moment. For somebody listening right now, it's actually the same belief that you already committed to in the past, the same belief that God has been speaking to you about. It's actually the same belief that you at one time claimed earlier this year. I don't know who this is for, but for someone today, you don't actually have to believe something new. It's that same belief. And perhaps you dropped it. Perhaps you forgot about it. Perhaps it felt like it wasn't going to work. Perhaps you got sidetracked or distracted. Perhaps you lost that belief somewhere along the way, but I decree and declare you're picking it back up right now. I decree and declare you're returning to it now. Let me know in the comments with a 12 if this part is for you. Somebody listening today, it's not that you need to believe something new. You already got the belief. You know what it is. You already even tried on the new belief, but somewhere along the way you dropped it. Somewhere along the way you decided not to persist in consciousness. Or maybe by accident, you return to the default. You return to the old. And I came to tell you, in the words of Journey, and for your journey, don't stop believing. Don't stop believing. Whether you're claiming a new belief for yourself in this moment or returning to one that you dropped by mistake, I want you to claim it. I want you to hold on tight. I want you to never let go. Don't stop believing, Rave Church family. Every time I'm in the middle of one of these mixes, I'm always struck by how much I like the songs, even though I know that I choose and request these songs. But they always make me happy. And shout out Bryan for beautifully weaving together these mixes. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
This is the best it gets. I'm on the
So step one is
edge
believe.
to fall, but I don't
And then
see
step
it.
2, we move on.
I should be scared.
Step 2 is
Sit on,
receive.
but I don't feel it.
Oh, this track.
Why does it hurt? They're only
I want to celebrate all the partners that have been receiving all over the world lately. If you are a partner and you have been receiving in your life lately, I want you to comment a 13 right now. As this amazing track plays, I know some people would say the number 13 is unlucky, but I don't believe in that. I live in the blessing no matter what. So we're not skipping number 13. We're embracing number 13 because I can't help but be lucky. I can't help but succeed. I can't help but be in the blessing no matter what. If you are a partner and you have received something good lately, drop a 13 in the comments. I can't even keep track. Literally earlier today, I was thinking there are partner results and wins and celebrations that I forgot to add to the list because they just keep coming in. People just keep receiving, and it's not too late for you to join us, lovegrovepartners.com. But I celebrate everybody that is receiving all around the world.
This is the best it gets. I'm on the edge, about to fall, but I don't see it.
And so in the teaching, I share this core metaphysical principle that says, when you pray, believe that you have received. Not when it manifests, not when it shows up, not when the externals change, but right then and there, believe you have received. I don't want your receiving family to feel exhausting and endless. I want your receiving to feel simple, effortless, and instantaneous. And so we're gonna practice receiving today. Because the principle is, when you pray, believe that you have received. I want us to practice it. I want us to do that in real time, right here and now. If you're down for that, give me a 14 in the comments. And so we're gonna do something right now. I'm so serious about this. 14 in the comments if you're with me. Bryan, can you do it while you mix? Stefan, can you do it while you record? I hope so. No, not the 14, what we're about to do. Bryan's giving me a 14 with his hands. Thank you for the 14, Bryan. Thank you for the 14 in the comments. But we're gonna do it right now. I want us to practice step 2 of receiving together. That's so cute, Bryan, that you did the 14. Thank you, that's endearing. But I want you to do the exercise. So this wasn't planned, this isn't in my notes, but we're gonna do it off the cuff as it comes to me. Another great song. Who requests these? Okay. So I want us all to, right now, as the music plays, be guided to something that we can ask for. There's no right or wrong answer here, but be open. Be open to being surprised. Be open for God to speak to you in this moment. Be open to something unexpected coming through. I want us all to be guided right now to one thing to ask for. I'll let this beautiful Emmett Finn track play, and I'll give you 15 to 20 seconds to be guided. What are you going to ask for in this moment?
Here's a little song about a girl in the rain within no coat.
And let me just insert this nugget here. When divine guidance comes through, remember that intuition often speaks first, and fear speaks second. So please trust what comes through first. I know some of you out there relate and understand this. Sometimes a message comes through, and the first message is the right one. The first message is the divine one. The first message is the one you're meant to hear. But then there's a second message that conflicts. And then there's a third message that contradicts. If you ever had that happen, drop a 15. Sometimes the messages get confusing because there was a first one I heard and understood, but then there was a second one that made me question, and a third one that made me doubt, and a fourth one that moved me in another direction. And I want to suggest to you, this is the word maybe somebody needed from this mix. I want to suggest to you the first message was the right one. The first message was the real one. The first message was the divine one. So I know what came through for me as the first message that I felt called to ask for in this moment. Bryan, do you know what your ask is? Okay. I know you all at home, you all in the plane, in the car, in the gym. You have yours too. And now we're going to take a second, knowing that all of God is right there in this moment. All of God is in this mix. All of God is in the room with you. We're going to take a second and ask. Asking does not have to be hard. It's actually vulnerable and beautiful and healing. And so I pray that right where you are, you just took a second to ask. But now we get to practice receiving. Because again, the principle is believe that you have received right here and now. So the thing that you just asked for, I want you to decide right now, I am receiving right now. As this Kygo song plays, I want you to feel that it is done, it is done, it is done. I want you to feel that it is finished. I want you to feel that you have received the thing you've asked for right here and now. It is done, it is done, it is done. And if your mind presents any objections and says, but we don't know how it's going to happen, but I don't feel any different, but nothing has changed yet. If your mind presents any objections, this is where you get to remember, I don't need to feel something specific to believe it. I don't need to see evidence to believe it. I don't need to wait on something to change to believe it. I believe it now. I receive it right now. It is done, it is done, it is done. If you are stepping into that place, it is done, it is done, it is done. Give me a 17. It is done, it is done, it is done. And you know, to me, part of staying in the receiving zone, staying in the it is finished zone, staying in the zone that some would call the frequency of answered prayer, is just simply living in a thank you. I want you to take this moment within yourself and say thank you that it's done. Thank you that it is happening with a certainty. Thank you that I have received. I want you to practice living in a thank you for the thing you're waiting on. Living in a thank you for the thing that's not here yet. Take a moment and say thank you. Thank you in advance. Thank you unconditionally. Thank you because I know it's on the way. Practice living in a thank you. And by the way, that's something you can bring yourself back to when your mind wants to pick it up again, when the doubt wants to start talking to you again, when you want to go into worry or stress or fear or calculation or mental manipulation. Just go back to a thank you. Go back to that place where you can remind yourself it's done. Because when you live in a thank you, you stay in the receiving zone. When you live in a thank you, you stay in the receiving zone. You know, there's a little exercise that I do that I felt called to offer somebody today. When I have received something in consciousness, but I'm waiting on the full manifestation externally, one tool that I like to use is I'll pick one of those counter apps that you can get for free on the App Store. At the time of this recording, I know technology is always changing, but I use one called Counter, how creative, right? And one called Vivid Counter. Those are my two. I have Counter and Vivid Counter. But here's what I use them for. When my mind doesn't want to feel resolved, when my mind doesn't trust that I'm really on track, that it's really happening, I open one of those apps and I hit that button. Just that square, center, whatever it is, I hit that counter and I take myself back to a thank you. Instead of a question mark, instead of a doubt, instead of some version of worry, stress, or fear, I take myself back to a thank you and I press that button. Just to make it a little fun, just to gamify it for myself, just to give my brain some tangible action to do. And I hit that button and I say, thank you, it's done. Thank you, it's handled. In the spirit of Olivia Pope, it is handled. Thank you that I have received. And I guess I just felt led to offer that for somebody today, so you know it's okay to have to go back to that again and again and again. It's actually okay if gratitude is something you find yourself needing to practice. It's actually okay if this way of receiving is a new thing for you. We're learning to receive. We're practicing receiving, family. Believe, receive, release. If this mix is speaking to you, would you hit the share button right now? Take a second and share it far and wide. So believe, receive, release. Believe, receive, release. I want to talk about that third step, release. And I felt called to tell somebody today, you don't have to be watching it for it to change. I wasn't planning on sharing this analogy, but I think about myself as a little kid when we would be baking cookies, and I would want to sit in front of the oven like, I need to watch them rise. I need to watch that mess of dough turn into a cookie. And you know, as a little kid, I don't think I ever had the patience to be able to sit there and sit still for the entire baking time to watch it happen from start to finish. But what I figured out very quickly is it didn't matter whether I was in front of the oven, whether I was sitting there, whether I was watching it or not. I didn't have to be watching it for it to change. I didn't have to be obsessing over it for it to change. I didn't have to be thinking about it for it to change. Somebody receive that message today. You don't have to be watching it for it to change. You don't have to obsess over it for it to change. You don't have to be thinking about it for it to change. And again, bear with me as I reference the teaching for a moment, but what I love about the story we talked about is that he spoke and then he moved on. He spoke to the tree, but then he moved on. And I felt led to speak to this for a moment and say, some of you don't know about that life when it comes to speaking to the tree and moving on. Some of you camp out under the tree. You feel like, I've got to stay right here. I can't move, I can't leave, I can't move on or go elsewhere or do anything else. I've got to stay right here and stare at this thing until it changes, until it shows up, until it moves. And I had this visual as I was getting ready for this mix that some of you believe the thing, receive the thing, decide the thing, or at least attempt to on some level in consciousness, but then you don't know how to release. You don't really trust that it's going to happen. And so you can't move on. You can't stay in the flow. You can't go about your business. And it's like you pitch a tent and you just have a little camp out right under the tree in a holding pattern, in a waiting mode, not gonna do anything else. I'm camping out until this moves. But what if you didn't have to do that? What if it was safe to move on? What if it was safe to leave the thing and to truly let go mentally and to know that it was still gonna happen? I'm using a lot of different analogies today, so thank you for letting me teach and use them all. But I want you to think about for a moment, family, the way that if you never let go of a seed, it can never become anything. Letting go is literally essential. Letting go is vital. Letting go is the whole beginning point. Because if you never let go, it never gets planted. If you never let go, it never gets to grow. If you never let go, it never turns into anything. Only if it gets planted can it become something new, something good, something greater. It was never meant to stay a seed, but letting go is required. That's why this step 3 of release is so important. And I came to tell somebody today, here's the paradox, right? It's a spiritual truth, an ancient idea, and a timeless metaphysical principle. That if you try to hold on to your life, it will always feel like you're losing. Give me an 18 if you've ever felt that way. If you try to hold on to your life, it will always feel like you're losing. It's like trying to catch the wind. It's like trying to hold on to water. Ever tried that? It doesn't work. You can go put your hands under the sink, under the shower, under a faucet, and try to hold on to some water. And 90% of it will fall through the fingers. It doesn't work. And I know some of you have lived and experienced this, that if you try to hold on to your life, it will always feel like you're losing. But here's the flip side of that. Here's the good news. If you let go of control, if you let go on the deepest level, if you are willing to let go of a seed, whatever form it is, you don't lose in the end. You actually find life at the highest level. That's the paradox. If you try to hold on to your life, it will always feel like you're losing. But if you let go, you end up finding the best life of all. Somebody receive that message today. Give me a 20 if that is for you. I feel this so strongly for somebody. If you never let go, you never let in. If you never let go, you never let in. Some of you have been wondering why you feel stuck, why you feel blocked, why it feels like you can't receive what you've been trying so hard to receive. And this message isn't for everybody, but it is for somebody. If you never let go, you never let in.
I think I'm losing control. Do you feel it too? I've been out there running like a lonely soul on fire. Everybody's talking and I can't get.
We're going to do another exercise for a moment right now.
Somewhere in the middle, did it ever cross?
If you're able to, you can close your eyes for this, but it's not required. Please don't do it. If you're on a treadmill, driving, etc. But if you're able to, I want you to imagine that there's something in your left hand. You can cup your wrist if you're able to, hold something tightly. I want you to imagine, to feel that there's a little seed in your left hand. And I want you to imagine that that seed represents something you're struggling to surrender, something you're struggling to trust, something you're struggling to let go. And I want you to feel the way that there's a voice in your head that tells you you've got to clench onto this and hold on tightly for dear life. You can't let go. You can't let go. It's not safe to do so. Feel that seed in your left hand and feel the way that there might be a voice inside of you. There might be a part of you that says, we've got to hold on to that as tightly as we can. It's not safe to let go. And yet as you hold on to that, I believe that people all around the world are going to have an aha moment where they realize, I've got to let go. Because this thing is not supposed to stay a seed. That is not its final form. That is not what it was created for. That is not its destiny. And I believe people all around the world are having an aha moment right now where they're realizing, wait a minute, I've got to let go. I've got to let go. I'm supposed to let go. Not only is it safe to do so, that's actually what was meant to happen. Because if I let go of this, the seed can go into the ground and it can get planted and it can be released and it can be transformed and something new will be on the other side. Something good will be on the other side. A harvest will be on the other side. I have to let go. That's how it's meant to work. And so take a moment right now and decide, can I trust the letting go? Can I trust that it's safe to release? Can I trust the letting go? If you feel a trust there already, ready to release, give me a 21 in the comments. And if you feel yourself in inner conflict with some struggle and resistance, that's so okay. Give me a 22 in the comments. If it's a struggle to trust that it's really okay to let go, give me a 22. But I want every single person, if you can, to feel into your left hand that seed. And it is time to let go. It is correct to let go. It is safe to let go. Because only if you let go will you be able to let in. Only if it gets planted will it be released. And when you're ready, I want you to feel yourself opening that hand up and releasing. Letting that seed fall into the soil of infinite possibility. Realizing I'm not losing out by doing this. I'm opening up to so much good. I'm opening up to it all. I'm opening up to infinite possibilities. You get to decide when you're ready. But when you're ready, release. You've already done the work. You've already believed. You've already received. When you're ready, release. To let go is to let in. To let go is to let in. To let go is to let in. Now, we've got a couple of songs left. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. Give me a 23 in the comments if you're still here. Shout out to my crew that's listening all the way through. 23 if you're still here. And thank you for being here. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for making sure you're subscribed to Rave Church. Thank you for sharing this experience. But before we do a couple of songs to conclude today, there's a thought I felt led to share with you. I was talking to God about this flow. Believe, receive, release. Believe, receive, release. And I feel like our entire community is learning this flow and living into this flow, and it's not too late. Every single person listening to this, you are certainly invited to join us for the entire playlist of 77 Days of Grace. If you are not caught up, I will link it here. But as I was preparing and praying for today, I felt like God started talking to me about why so many people struggle to release, even though it's essential, even though it's a required step in the process, even though there's literally an invitation to let go of any burden, any care, any concern. I felt like God started talking to me about why do people struggle to release? And here's what I believe it is. As I was getting ready to record this for you and to be here with you on the virtual dance floor, it was like God said to me, so many people struggle to release because they think that they're all alone. And so in that world, in that mindset, in that paradigm where you're all alone, it's just you. And as so many people like to repeat online, they say, nobody is coming to save you. It's just you. When are you going to accept? It's just you. Nobody is coming to save you. And it was like God said to me, they think they're alone, which means releasing it is just giving up, just settling. Just accepting it is what it is, and it's never gonna get better. And if you're in that paradigm, if that's how it feels to you, of course you don't wanna release. And of course, letting it go doesn't feel good, because letting go feels like you're just throwing it into the void. I don't know what it is with my visual pictures today, but I had the visual picture that some of you feel like letting go is like flushing it down the toilet. And so, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to flush it down the toilet? Why would I want to never see it again? And there's so many people, they think they're alone, and releasing would just be giving up, would just be throwing it into the void, flushing it down the toilet, leaving themselves alone and powerless and afraid. If you've ever struggled to let go, and specifically for that reason, this is a safe space. Give me a 24 if you relate to that. But here's what I came to tell you today. You are not actually alone or stuck or abandoned. You are, in fact, a child of God, and you have more love and more assistance and more support in the invisible realm than you can possibly imagine. And I was telling Bryan this as we were getting ready and talking through things in advance for this mix. You know, I did not grow up with rich parents that I could call at any time for anything. Now, if that's you, if you had that childhood, If you have that experience right now, if you are that parent right now, I love you. I'm glad you're here. No judgment on any of those realities. Love that for you. But I was telling Bryan, I did not have the experience that I could just pick up the phone and place a call and know that it would be handled, know that it would be taken care of, know that my parents had got it. And I actually think that's pretty normal in my community. If you relate to my experience here, give me a 25 in the comments. Again, it's a safe space. I think a lot of people in my community relate that they did not grow up with a parent on the other end that they could just always call, and no matter what, here come the funds. No matter what, of course we can do it. No matter what, we've got you. It's covered. It's all okay. And so I think a lot of us turn into adults that maybe have never healed our God trauma, and maybe sometimes feel a little lost and alone in the universe, and maybe sometimes feel like now we're the adults having a solo experience all by ourselves, and there's no one coming to save us. There's no one on the other end. There's no one that's going to pick up even if we do call. And so it can be scary to not know what to do. It can be scary to not feel like we have what we need. It can be scary to not be sure where to turn in an intense moment. But I felt so strongly that what I needed to tell you today is you are not alone or stuck or abandoned. You are a child of God. And thank you for letting me take my time with the keys for a moment here. We're going to indulge fully in a couple of long songs in a moment, but thank you for letting me take my time here, because I feel like we're rewriting the story for ourselves today at every level of consciousness. And I feel like there is so much healing happening for somebody's inner child right now. I used to be very triggered by people who would talk about God in terms of a parent, and even worse, God as a father. Many of you know the story of when a coach asked me, is it possible that the reason you're triggered by the word God is God the Father connotations? To which I wanted to say, I'm having technical difficulties. I can't hear you. Let me get off this call. But you know what I realized is that idea of God the Father, and I know this isn't a teaching, I can't fully go into it, but just trust me on this for now. I realized one day the idea of God the Father, it's not about sex, it's not about gender, it's not about the patriarchy, it's not about any of these things. I missed it completely, because the idea of God the Father was spoken into a culture where the Father was the source of your identity and blessing and inheritance. And so what if I came to suggest to somebody today, and I pray that you can hear this with an open mind and an open heart, what if there's a way for us to entertain the concept of God as a parent, even God as a father? And it's not about God being a man in the sky, it's not about the patriarchy, but what if there's a way for us to hear God as a father in a way that means you have an incredible identity and family and belonging. You have an infinite inheritance. You have a blessing on you wherever you go and whatever you do. See, I believe the concept of God the Father does not exist so that we can have another parent to get mad at us or to get in trouble with. I believe the concept exists so that no matter who you are, no matter what your story has looked like up until this point, no matter how you got here, it exists so that you can be loved and you can belong. And you have all the worth, all the value, all the identity, all the authority, all the inheritance, all the favor, and all the blessing, no matter what. And so this moment in this mix is about us receiving a new story, receiving the healing that our inner child needs. This moment is about us letting God reparent us and saying, you're loved. You are perfect just the way you are, a lyric you're going to hear in this next song. And may this story replace and rewrite any other one that does not serve you. All right, Bryan, I'm ready for the song. This song is literally titled, I Have a Father. And I just want to encourage you, this might seem a little different, this might be new, this might be uncomfortable for some of you. It's a gospel moment, that's okay.
You're a good father.
Just open your heart and feel into what is here for you in this moment.
From your own.
I believe a deep healing is occurring for somebody's inner child right now.
You are my defender.
What if God is your defender? You don't have to defend yourself. In your defenselessness, your safety lies.
Help me to believe.
What if God is helping you believe something new right now? Come on, Chandler.
It won't ever prosper. I want to tell the enemy it won't work. Oh, no weapon formed.
Nothing they said about you, nothing they said to you,
'Cause I have a father.
nothing they did, none of it could define you. None of it could stop you or hold you back or limit you. Somebody receive a healing right now.
So you're a mighty warrior. You break the lie.
See, there's a new identity truth for somebody today. You've been walking around like you're alone. You've been walking around like you're helpless and hopeless. You've been walking around like it all depends on you. But you're so much more loved than that. You're so much more powerful, so much more supported than that. Listen to this.
No weapon formed against me. No, it won't. I want
Nothing can stop you, family. Nothing can stop you. It won't work, it won't work, it won't work.
no weapon formed against me. No, it won't. Here's why, 'cause
It's a universal truth that everybody gets to receive.
I have a father.
Here it is, just the way I am. You are seen, you are understood, you are known. There is divine wisdom for every moment, every situation, every decision. There is so much healing happening within people's consciousness right now.
Loves me. Just come on. I have a father who sees me and leads me.
The alchemist says,
Even the trouble.
people who know that they're loved can do anything in all of creation. I pray that this is the moment where you realize how loved you have always been. That from this day forward you will know I am a member of the most royal family. I am a divine masterpiece. I am a child of God and an heir to all of the inheritance. I know who I am. I remember who I am. I know who I am. I remember who I am.
Come on, let's sing it. No weapon formed against me.
I pray that as this song plays, any and all fear that you brought into this space is dissolving. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. It's safe to release. It's safe to let go. Nothing can change who you are. Nothing can diminish who you are. Nothing can stop your destiny.
I know sometimes you may feel rejected, but you have a father. loves me just the way I am.
That love changes everything. That knowing changes everything.
This is the truth. Even the trauma couldn't stop. No.
Every time I listen to this song, I can't decide if he's singing trauma or drama. And I could look it up, but I don't really care because I think it's true either way. The trauma does not define you, and the drama can't stop you. The trauma does not define you, and the drama can't stop you. I want you to feel into, it's like you have the wealthy parent you can call, the one that you can ask for anything, the one you know that will come through for you. Do you feel how this knowing changes everything? I pray that you believe differently from this day forward, that you ask differently from this day forward, that you receive differently from this day forward. You are free, family. Breathe into the freedom as you let go. It feels so good when you know the weight of the world does not all fall on your shoulders. It feels so good to let yourself be a child of God. This is the missing piece in the puzzle for somebody today. This is the piece that makes it safe to release. Because you know you're loved. You know that you are cared for.
'Cause I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. The devil don't like it, the devil don't like it, but I'm free. I said the enemy doesn't like it when you know that you're free, but I'm free. No more chains holding me, no. No weapon formed against me.
There is nothing to fear. It is safe
To
to release, believe, receive, release. It gets to be easy. It gets to be simple. It gets to happen in a flow of grace. Believe, receive, release.
Loneliness and all.
We have one more song, family.
I was stuck to the spot.
And it feels a little different as we end today. That's intentional.
Alone again.
But I felt like we needed to end with this song, which is quite literally titled Only Loved.
For some shiver.
I am aware that at the time of this recording, but also not limited to that, truthfully always these days, it feels like things other than love are turned up so loud on our phones, so loud on our feed, so loud everywhere we turn. Give me a 26 in the comments if you feel that way, that sometimes there's so much fear, there's so much hate, there's so much division and judgment and charged messaging out there that just feels awful. So much other than love sometimes gets turned up. And yet, judgment doesn't have any transformational value. Shame doesn't have any transformational value. Guilt doesn't have any transformational value. Only love does.
I didn't fool you, but
I just looked at the clock on my end. It's 11:11 here.
Sure
What a beautiful time.
made a fool out of you.
And so can I encourage you? To every human out there, every child of God, every partner and every leader. This is not a moment we need you to get sidetracked 5 lanes over.
But perhaps
This is a moment where we need you fully in your purpose, fully in your assignments,
be ready.
fully in your calling, being who you are and doing exactly what you're called to do.
And you saw me low.
I'm here to encourage you today. What you do and who you are matter so much. stay in trust. Stay in your purpose. Stay in the flow. I want to encourage you today. Stay in the unforced rhythm of grace. You may have heard me say before that favor is simply a manifestation of knowing how loved you are. And I believe every single person is walking away from this mix certain of how loved they are, feeling how loved they are. It is all happening for you because you are so loved. And love is the most real thing in this universe. Love is the thing that always wins in the end. Love is the only thing that can transform a human being or transform this world. Thank you for your love, and thank you for letting yourself be loved. We're going to work with the laws, but rest in the love. We're resting in the love, family. Now, forever, and always. This is RAVE Church. If you made it all the way to the end, I want you to drop a 27 in the comments for me. If you made it all the way to the end, drop a 27. We made it, we made it, we made it, family. And I am so grateful to have shared this entire journey and experience with you. If this spoke to you today, if it resonated with you on a deep soul level, would you do me a favor and hit the share button? I will let you decide where and how you want to share it in your world. But thank you for putting this in a place where somebody else can discover it just in the moment when they might need it the most. I appreciate all of you sharing so much, and stay with me till the end here because I want to do something I've never done before in a Rave Church episode, which is to pray over you at the end. And that's what we're going to do in just a moment. That's how I want to end today. But first, a couple of quick announcements. If you are new to me and new to my channel, new to all of this content, I would love to get connected with you. There is a website that you can go to, lovegrove.club. That's lovegrove.club, and we will link it in the episode description as well. When you sign up there, you will get continual encouragement and inspiration from me right to your inbox. And immediately upon signing up, I will send you my favorite teaching of all time as a gift, saying thank you for getting connected in that way and being part of the community. So, lovegrove.club, let's get connected. If you would like to become a partner and support this work, whether with a one-time gift today or on an ongoing basis, all of the options, all of the ways to do that are online at lovegrovepartners.com. Again, a website that we'll also put in the episode description, but lovegrovepartners.com. Thank you to each and every one of you who believes in this work, supports it, and is giving even today. I appreciate it beyond what I know how to put into words. And last but not least, I will mention here, we are in the middle of a journey, an experiment, an experience that we're all having together called 77 Days of Grace. This mix and this episode are going to be going right into that series and that playlist. But if you are not already going through your own journey of 77 days of grace with us, you are certainly invited. It is not too late. In fact, I believe you're hearing this at just the right time. And you are certainly invited to join us. And I can't wait to celebrate with you all that unfolds in your life when you choose to receive simply through grace. With all of that said, let's take a moment and pray together as we conclude this episode. If it is safe and comfortable to do so where you are certainly allowed to close your eyes if it feels good, or just stay in the moment, however you're listening with me. But God, who is my source, God, who is the love and power and presence within me, God, who is my favorite friend in all moments and all circumstances, thank you for this mix and these moments that we have shared together today. Thank you for Bryan and the way that he always co-creates so wonderfully with me. Thank you, God, for every single person who has found this mix, who is using this mix in their life. Thank you, God, for every single person who is praying with me right now. I truly believe they have been guided to this message at just the right time. I pray and I affirm that as this episode goes forth into the world, you would speak to every single person through it with exactly the message they need at just the right time. I speak over them that this is, in fact, a fresh starting point of creation, a clean slate moment in which all things are made new. Thank you for helping them turn the page. Thank you for helping them get the exact breakthrough that they have been seeking. Thank you that there are so many people around the world stepping into a new season today. God, I pray that these questions really would support them in the days to come. What is my new season asking me to believe? What is my vision asking me to believe? What is my dream asking me to believe? And I bless them as they choose to believe something new starting right now. I bless them as they choose to expect something new and even to speak something new starting right now. I pray that they would be unbelievably clear leaving this space that they have received. It is done. It is done. It is done. It is done. There is nothing to prove. There is nothing to earn. There is nothing to struggle for or worry over. May we live into that knowing that it is finished. May we leave this space at the frequency of answered prayer, being anchored in the knowing that it is done, it is done, it is done. And thank you, God, for this message that we have received today, that it is safe to release, that it is safe to give it over to you, that it is truly safe for us to let go, that only when we let go can we let it in. Only when something is planted can it truly be released. And so in this moment, we choose to release. We choose to let go of anything we have been holding on to. And we do it with perfect trust and peace and confidence. Thank you, God, that it is safe to do so because we are not alone. We are not in it by ourselves. And I speak this truth for every single person praying with me now, that they are a child of God, an heir to all of the inheritance. Everything that is yours belongs to them. They are not missing anything or lacking anything at the deepest level, but no, they have been given all things. They already have it all. God, I pray that you would just integrate all of these shifts, all of these ideas, all of that inner child healing for people today. May we leave this space knowing who we are. May we leave this space knowing that we are, each of us, a child of God, that we have a Father, and may we understand the spiritual, metaphysical truth that means we have the blessing, we have the authority, we have power, we have access, we have inheritance. May we know who we are, remember who we are, and start from that as a foundation all the days of our life. Thank you, God, that as people have been listening to this mix, the fear has been turned down and the love has been turned up. Thank you for anchoring us in the knowing that love is what we need. Love is the thing that truly transforms. And love will most certainly win in the end. So no matter what we feel in this moment, no matter what's going on around us, no matter what our circumstances look like, we choose love and we choose to keep believing. Thank you, God, for all the miracles that will follow this mix and this change today in people's lives all over the world. I bless every single person who is a part of the RAVE church family. I bless every single person who received a message for their life, for their heart, for their soul today. God, as I do every single day at the beginning of the day, I bless every single one of my partners to their highest and best. In this moment, I bless the person who is listening, who has been feeling the intuitive nudge and decides in this moment that today is their day, this is their next step, and they're taking it. They are becoming a partner and supporting this work today. I bless them to the fullest. I bless every single person who is giving today. May they receive a maximum return. May they be rooted in the knowing that all of what they sow, they will most certainly reap. That as they give, so it shall be given to them, pressed down, shaken together, running over to make room for more. And so for every person giving today, I bless them into exceedingly, super abundantly, infinitely, and immeasurably more than they could ever ask, dream, or imagine. Thank you, God. We stay in the flow of grace. We know that we can't mess it up because we only receive through grace. And even where we might be tempted to feel like we have messed it up, God, even then, we are held, we are supported, we are loved unconditionally. And we breathe into this truth now. Grace abounds all the more. Wherever we feel like we're not enough, wherever we feel like we've messed it up, wherever we feel like we fall short, may we breathe in this truth today, even there and especially there. Grace abounds all the more. So thank you, God. We expect goodness, we expect blessing, we expect favor all day, all week, all month, all season. As we leave this space and stay on our journey of grace, I speak this word in the name of Jesus, who said, all things are possible for the one who believes, and together we affirm, we are the ones, and so it is, and so we are. Amen, amen, and amen. That does it. for us on the virtual dance floor today, family. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for sharing this episode with someone you love, and I will see you back here soon. I love you. I believe in you with all my heart, and the best is yet to come.